Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that teaching and learning religious knowledge is sufficient obligation. Muslim student takes London school to High Court over prayer ban. Iran launches airstrikes on alleged ISIS-linked targets in Pakistan. And to serve pilgrims of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, intensive discussions on waiver of visa fees between Iraq and Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from London, only on Imam Hussein TV 3. The daily scholarly meetings of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi was held on Tuesday, the 4th of Rajab. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi said that learning the obligations and prohibitions and to act in relation to them, whether they are Sharia rulings, beliefs or ethics, as well as history of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam, and an extent of philosophy covering the prerequisites of existence for understanding ahkam for us and the guidance of others, is a sufficiency obligation for all as long as there are not enough knowledgeable people in this field. It is an individual obligation as well. Let's watch the statements of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi together.
وغالبا من فيها الكفاية مو موجود، وكلما تعملونه أنتم وأمثالكم ونحن وأمثالنا، كلما نعمله وتعملون هاي واجبات عينية بمقدار ما يمكننا وبمقدار ما لا يكون هناك حرج وضرر. يجب القيام بهذه المسؤولية. أسأل الله عز وجل لي ولكم هذا التوفيق.
A high-achieving North London school, previously dubbed Britain's strictest, is facing a High Court challenge from a Muslim student over a decision to impose a prayer ban. The student, who cannot not be named, alleges that the policy introduced by the Michaela Community School in Brent is discriminatory and fundamentally changed. How she feels about this being a Muslim in this country, a judge has heard. Sarah Hannett KC, representing the student only to be referred as TTT, told the court that the policy had the practical effect of only preventing Muslims from praying because their prayer by nature has a ritualized nature rather than being an internal nature. Iran has used precision missile and drone strikes to destroy two strongholds of Sunni militant group Jaish al-Adl in Khohar Sabz area of Pakistan's southwest Balochistan province. The Tuesday night attack, which reported resulted in the death of two innocent children, comes after Iran launched missiles in northern Iraq and Syria on Monday in the latest escalation of hostilities in the Middle East. Pakistani and Iraqi authorities have condemned the attacks, accusing Iran of violating their airspaces and killing civilians. Pakistan's foreign ministry warned that the incident could have serious consequences and was totally unacceptable. The Iraqi foreign ministry had also said earlier that it would file an official complaint to the United Nations Security Council against Iran. Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that teaching and learning religious knowledge is sufficient obligation. Muslim student takes London school to High Court over prayer ban. Iran launches airstrikes on alleged ISIS-linked targets in Pakistan. Also tonight, 40 Tunisian migrants missing in Mediterranean after embarking on a boat towards the Italian coast. Prime Minister's advisor for aviation, retired Marshal Farhat Hussein Khan, discussed on Monday, January the 15th, with the Ambassador of Iraq to Islamabad, Hamid Abbas Laftwar, the issue of waiving the visa fees for visitors to the holy cities of Karbala and Najaf during the Ashura and Arba'in pilgrimage. A report regarding this, viewed by Shia Waves agency, quoted Mr. Khan as confirming his country's interest in dealing with Iraq to grant the rights of the 5th aviation privilege to Pakistani Airlines, which has special rights to obtain additional privileges for their flights to and from Iraq, stressing on the mutual benefits aimed at enhancing the air connectivity to enhance the potential for increasing trade and tourism between the two countries. To discuss this further, we have us with the expert on Pakistan affairs, Afzal Riza from Islamabad. Assalamu alaikum. In light of the recent Pakistani-Iraqi discussions on cancelling visa fees for visitors, how important and beneficial do you think the move is for the pilgrims of the holy shrines of the Ahlul Bayt in Iraq? I believe we have some technical difficulties. Now we'll continue with some shorter news. The US State Department lawmakers and human rights groups marked the 10th anniversary of the jailed Uyghur academic and blogger Ilham Tohti's arrest on Monday, with renewed calls for China to release him, while his daughter urged Beijing to provide proof that he remains alive. An outspoken economics professor who has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, Tohti was arrested on January 15, 2014. While teaching, he regularly highlighted the religious and cultural persecution of the mostly Muslim Uyghur ethnic minority in northwestern Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. He was sentenced to life in prison on September 23rd this same year following a 2-day snow trial on charges of promoting separatism, and has not been seen or heard from since 2017. As part of its humanitarian activities, the UK-based Who is Hussein organisation has distributed 500 packed meals for families in need in Toronto, Canada, according to a statement on its official Facebook page. The organisation said that it distributed 500 packed meals for families in need in Toronto, Canada. Migration to Europe will increase in 2024 as people try to reach the continent before the introduction of new laws aimed at cutting the number of arrivals. Unsettled by multiple election campaigns in Europe, including the UK and the US during the immigration, which will be a divisive topic, many of those looking to come to Europe will rush to arrive before the system changes, predicted the Austrian-based International Centre for Migration Policy and Development, the ICMPD. Final data from the EU for 2023 is expected to show more than 1 million asylum applications were made in 2023, up about by 20% on 2022, and the highest number since 2016, according to the ICMPD. In response to the recommendations of the Supreme Religious Authority, His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Hussein Shirazi, the Ahlul Bayt Association in Niger announced its membership in the largest interfaith dialogue forum in the country, known as Steer Niger. This move aims at spreading the culture of peace and tolerance in accordance with the instructions of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. The association's president, Hujjat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Sheikh Hassan Ada, said in a statement to Shia Waves agency that the most important thing that the Supreme Religious Authority, His Eminence Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Hussein Shirazi, has emphasized is the promotion of social relations, the call for peaceful coexistence, and the rejection of hatred, with the aim of spreading the culture of peace in human societies. A Hindutva mob thrashed 3 Muslim men to death and critically injured 2 other persons in Aurangabad district in the Indian state of Bihar. According to the police report, the victims were attacked for parking their car in front of a shop. Videos of the incident, which reportedly occurred on Monday, making rounds on social media, showed the mobs armed with sticks brutally assaulting the occupants of the car. About 40 Tunisian migrants were missing after setting off a boat towards the Italian coast last week, the National Guard said on Tuesday. Tunisia is facing a migration crisis and has replaced Libya as a main departure point for people fleeing poverty and conflict in Africa and the Middle East in the hope of a better future and life in Europe. National Guard video footage showed Coast Guard ships supported by aircraft searching for the missing people. During the first 11 months of 2023, the number of irregular migrants intercepted by Tunisian authorities reached 69,963 people, more than double the figure of the same period in 2022, according to statistics shared by the National Guard. The international non-violence organization Free Muslim welcomed the announcement of the conference of the non-alignment movement in Uganda, expressing its hope that the outcomes of the conference will contribute to the formulation of executive decisions that will help to alleviate the suffering of the peoples of the Middle East. Free Muslim also called for the bringing the warring parties to dialogue and to search for solutions that lead to just settlement and restores the international stability and security to acceptable levels. Participants in Uganda have been called to the need to search for solutions to the ongoing problematic issues that the peoples of developing countries suffer from in terms of security, economy, politics, and environmental phenomena. The Ugandan capital of Kampala will host the Summit of Non-Alignment Countries on January the 19th and the 20th, 2024, as well as the summit meetings of the Group of 77 for Developing Countries on January the 21st and 22nd of the same month. We have reached the end of today's Shia Wave show. Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Hussein al-Shirazi says that teaching and learning religious knowledge is sufficient obligation. Muslim student takes London school to High Court over prayer ban. Iran launches airstrikes on alleged ISIS-linked targets in Pakistan. To serve the pilgrims of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, intensive discussions on waiver of visa fees between Iraq and Pakistan. 40 Tunisian migrants in Mediterranean missing after embarking on a boat towards the Italian coast. And the International Non-Violence Organization welcomes holding of non-alignment conference in Uganda. You can view the latest news on our website, or you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for all watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jiddu, I need to tell you a secret. I had an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest,